Hey y'all, this is Big Black Barbecue, and today I'm going to be making something very technical. Um, it's going to have a lot of elements that we usually don't see on the grill, or on a smoker, especially on this smoker. What I'm going to be making is a chocolate bread pudding and a bourbon chocolate bread pudding with a bourbon smoked ice cream. Like I said, this is going to be a little technical. You first want to start out is that the ice cream, we know it's going to melt on that smoker. So one of the things you will need for this is a smoker tube. If you don't have a smoker tube, or if you have a pellet smoker or a smoker that can do cold smoking, that's awesome. But you really need a smoker tube. What we're going to do first, as you can see here, I got this bowl in front of me filled with ice, and I got a bowl on top of it. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to put ice cream in a bowl and a bowl under it for ice, just to keep it cold. We're going to put this in the freezer for about 30 minutes. Let it just sit there and get cold in the bowl, have the bowl get cold. And I'm going to get my smoker tube started. We're not going to be turning on our smoker just yet. But we're going to get our smoker tube going, and I'm going to put this in there, and we're just going to let it smoke. I understand it's going to melt a little bit. I want it to melt just a little bit so I can stir in some bourbon. But for right now, smoker tube, just get it going. Let it fill up your gasket with smoke, and that's basically about it. I'll meet you out on the grill. Okay guys, it's been about 30 minutes. I've got my smoker tube going full blaze. I'm just going to start out with the ice cream. Like I said, basically what you want to do is that you don't want to start with your smoker on. You just want the smoker tube going. And I'm going to lift this up here. As you can see here, the smoker tube has gotten pretty smoky going. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the ice cream on top of that for right now. I'm gonna put the ice cream right here, let it go. What I'm hoping for, in about maybe 30 minutes or so, it's gonna start melting a little bit. Then I'm going to add my bourbon. I got some vanilla bourbon from Jim Beam. That's what I'm gonna be using. But my neighbors are outside doing a little yard work, so mind the noise, but that's basically what you're gonna do. What we're gonna want is we're gonna want to see a film on the ice cream. I want it to melt just a little bit, like I said, just to get a nice little, just to add the bourbon and mix it well. But we just want to see a little film. So we're going to let this go about 30 minutes or so. Come back out here, see what we got, see if we got a little film on it, see if I can't add the bourbon, and we're just going to let it go. So I'm just going to close this up, let this fill up with smoke, and I'll be back shortly to check on it. Okay guys, it's been about 30 minutes. I'm gonna open this up. It's gonna be a little smoky, as you know, with a smoker tube. But I'm gonna go ahead and taste it, see what it tastes like, see if it's got a nice little smoke flavor to it. Let's go ahead and taste this. Okay. It's getting that smoky flavor. It's not where I want it completely, but it is getting there. And I'm just gonna show you that it is melting a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my bourbon. And you don't have to add a lot. I got an airplane shot here, or a shooter. I'm just going to add a little bit of it. Just enough to get it, enough actual bourbon taste to it. So we're just going to add a little bit to it here. Added enough. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stir this ice cream. So we're going to give it a nice little stir here. It should be melted enough to where you give it a nice little stir. It's not completely melted, but it's got enough to actually mix around. Put a little bit more bourbon in there because I didn't see any, but get a nice little stir there. And what we're going to do now is that we're just going to sit back and let it go for another 15 minutes. The bourbon taste is definitely in there now. I can taste it. But we want that smoke to just heavily infuse into here. So we're just gonna let it go for a little bit longer. But I'm gonna close this up. I'll be back out here. I'm gonna take it off the smoker in about 15 minutes, and I'm gonna get to the second part of this chocolate bread pudding. The wood chips I'm using, you can use hickory or cherry. I'm using hickory, but just use a light or a heavy heavy wood pellets for like smoking brisket or beef or something like that. I'm using hickory because I want that smoke to go in here really, really strong. But yes, this is what we would have to do because we don't have a code smoker, guys. So like I said, just let it go for another 15 minutes. It should be at that part where you have enough smoke and enough film around your ice cream to where you can actually see the smokiness of it. And that's all we're doing for the ice cream. After that, we're going to take it off, and then we're going to put it right back in the freezer and let it freeze back up. But this is all we're doing. I'm going to let it go for another 15 minutes, like I said, and I'll be back with the second part. Okay, guys, I'm ready for the second part. Starting the bread pudding, basically. I got my ice cream in the freezer, refreezing, getting back solid. I'm going to start with the bread pudding, basically. All we're doing right now is that, as you can see here, I got some brioche bread that I've cut up into like 1 inch or a little bit over 1 inch pieces. And what we're going to do is we're going to toast them on the smoker. We're going to have our smoker anywhere from 225 to 250. And we're going to let this go for about 30 to 45 minutes. What we're looking for is just toasting. As you can see, as you also know, I also have my smoker tube going, so it's going to infuse some smoke as well. But we're going to come out here every 10 minutes or so and just give this a little stir just to get them all nicely coated to where they're all toasting. But that's all we're going to do. We're going to toast this. I'm going to be back on the grill. I'm going to show you that I'm just going to put it out there. There's nothing much to it. Like I said, smoking at anywhere from 225 to 250. It takes anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes to get a nice little toast on these guys, and that's all we're gonna do. While we're getting that set up and getting that toasted and everything, I'm gonna start my basically mix to put in this, and that's all we're gonna do. There's nothing more to it. It's a little technical just because of the ice cream, and that I have to actually use a stove for the mixture that I got to do. But other than that, this is all you're doing for right now. But like I said, make sure 225 to 250. Like I said, you're not looking for to cook this yet. You're looking for an actual smoke, and you're looking for a toasting. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, we got our smoker up I got mine's up to 250, and this is all we're going to do. We're just going to let this sit here, let these get toasted up. As you said, they're brioche. You can actually, if you can actually get them to the point where they're stale a little bit, they make for an even better bread pudding. Mine's are a little stale, they're not completely, but yeah, we're just going to let these sit in here, let these get this smoke infused in here, and we're also going to let them toast. That's all we're going to do. And I'm going to go in and start making the chocolate custard that has to go in here after we finish. You will also need a skillet, but we'll get to that part later. But this is all we're doing. It takes about anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes to get these actually to the point of being toasted. We're going to come out here every 10 minutes or so and stir them around or shake them up just to get them evenly toasted. But this is all we're doing, guys. I'm gonna be back out here I'm gonna be back in shortly, getting my cluster together. I'm gonna show y'all how that's done. But this is all you're gonna do for these brioche pieces. Just let them toast. So I'm just gonna close this up, and we're gonna get to it. Okay, we're gonna start our cluster. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to put whole milk, a little bit of vanilla extract if you do not have any vanilla bean, heavy cream, sugar, salt, and I will put this recipe or the website to this recipe in the comments or in my description box. But you're going to want to put all those together. All the measurements will actually be on the recipe on the website. But we're just going to let this come to a boil. What we're going to do is that we're going to whisk this as it comes to a boil. When it gets to the boiling point, I'll come back with the rest of how to actually make this chocolate custard. But this is all you're doing right now. You're basically getting this up to a boil, whisking away and making sure the sugar dissolves, and also checking on your smoker for those brioche pieces to shake them up and get them toasted. But I'll be back shortly with once this gets to a boil and once I get it whisked and add all the rest of the part to the video. But this recipe will be in the description box. Like I said, it's a little technical, but we're going to get there. But this is all we're doing for right now, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, guys, my clustered mix is still going. It's still getting up to boiling temperature, getting that sugar dissolved. But in the meantime, as that's going and as your brioche buns or as your brioche loaf, whatever you use, is toasting, you can also get the second part of the mix going. Basically all it is large eggs, egg yolk, and vanilla bean or vanilla extract. Which one you use doesn't really matter. But you're going to whisk this. We're going to get it nice and creamy. And when that other mixture gets to a boil and it actually gets dissolved, we're going to add chocolate to it. I'll be back shortly with that part. But right now, this is just something to get together so you can just cut out time. But that's all we're doing. Like I said, just a very, very tedious process until you can get the actual product that you want on the smoker. But this is all whisking this and make sure your brioche bread pieces are getting toasted, and also the other part of your mixture is getting up to boil. But I'll be back shortly when that gets up to boil and I start adding the chocolate, and I'm gonna show you what I do. You don't want your cluster to get, or your eggs to get cooked, so you got to stir this very, very nicely as you add the other mixture in, just to make your cluster. But in the meantime, by the time that actually gets to the point of actual boil, because it's heavy cream, my bread pieces should be done, so I'll bring those in too. But I'll be back shortly. Okay, I got my cluster up to a nice boil, a nice simmering boil. Be careful. Heavy cream does boil over if you're not careful. So you do have to watch just a little bit, but I do got it to a boil. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some bittersweet chocolate chips. You can get the bar and cut it up, but it's just better just to get the chocolate chips because they melt easier. We're just going to add a little bit here. As you see, since this is still a little hot, I'm going to add about it's a little popping a little bit. Let me get closer here so it won't pop as much. But you're going to add just a little bit under a cup. And what we're going to do is that we're going to stir this until that chocolate melts. That's all you're going to do for right now. It's going to take a minute for this chocolate to get melt. But we're just going to add, you can add a little bit more if you want to. But we're just going to wait till this chocolate melt, till this gets a nice little chocolate color. But that's all you're doing. Just stirring this, whisking this really nicely while it's still simmering and getting that chocolate melted. Then we're going to add it to the other mixture, and I'll be back shortly to show you how that goes. Okay, my brioche buns, or bread, is toasted. It's out of the smoker. They're nice and toasted, nice and well. I have my cold mix here, and I have my chocolate mix over there. What I'm going to do first is I'm just going to add a little bit of bourbon to this cold mixture. Just a little bit. You don't need a lot. It's just bourbon. We know how strong it is. Especially if you're in Kentucky like I am, you know how strong bourbon is, but you just need enough to get a taste. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your chocolate mixture and you're going to put it into the cold mixture, and you're going to whisk it. You're going to whisk it a lot because you don't want it to cook your eggs. You want that actual custard mix. Once you get that completely mixed, you're going to pour it into your bread. I also have here already set to go a buttered cast iron skillet ready to go. Once we get the mixture with the bread already soaked and pretty good, we're going to put it into this cast iron skillet. I'll be back shortly with that because it's going to be hard for me to actually whisk this properly with this camera going, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you how I'm putting it in the cast iron skillet, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, I got my bread pieces nice and coated in the mixture. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to spoon it, scoop it out a little bit, put it into this cast iron skillet. Remember to butter your skillet, make sure it's nice and buttered. You're just going to put this in here. It's just simple. It's not that hard. Try and get as much as I can at one time. Get a nice little even, make sure you even it out. You do have a lot to put in here. But you're gonna put that mixture in here too. Ooh, I can smell the bourbon. Now get this nice and spread out here. Add a little bit more to the mixture. And then you're going to come behind it with the rest of the chocolate chips that you had. And you're going to sprinkle some chocolate chips over here. Like I said, if you have the chunks or if you have the bar, it's going to be harder to do, but you just have to chop it up. But, you know, this goes a lot easier. But this is all we're doing. Sprinkle enough on there. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn up our smoker to 325, and we're going to let this go for anywhere from 45 to 60 to about an hour. But this is all you're doing. You have your bread pudding ready to go, toast it. Now it's just on to head to the grill to bake for about 45 minutes to 60 minutes. So what you want to see is you want to see a toothpick like cake, a toothpick come out clean. That's all it is, but that's what we're going to do. I'm going to meet you out on the grill, and I'm going to show you basically just putting this on the grill. Okay guys, just want you to get a look real quick. All we're doing is 325 for about 45 minutes to an hour. We're just wanting to, when it's done, we'll stick when we get to that time, we'll stick a toothpick in it. Make sure it comes out clear. But this is all we're doing. I still got my smoker tube going, of course. But 325 for about an hour, and I'll see y'all back when it's done. Okay guys, I'm back. It's been about an hour. I gave it an hour and 15 minutes. One thing I didn't forget to mention was that you don't want to use a toothpick. You want to use a metal toothpick or a metal skewer, just because there is chocolate, so it won't come out clean, but a metal skewer will come out clean. When it's done, this is what I have. Just gonna give y'all a little quick peek right there. Total time for all this is about 3 hours or so, but it looks pretty good. Get a nice little view there again. It's got a nice light chocolate on it. I'm gonna give it a try. Just get a little scoop out here. It's nice and crunchy. Not gonna eat a lot. This is a lot of chocolate. Oh, let me get some bread pudding here. Get that little piece too. And of course, we're gonna add some that ice cream that we made earlier. Smoked ice cream is back hardened again. Get a nice little scoop of it. Put it on top. Okay, I don't have the perfect, but that'll do for just a sample size, I guess. But let's try this baby out. Let's try the bread pudding by itself first. Nice little piece here. That's some good bread pudding. Nice little chocolate bread pudding. Not too chocolatey, not too sweet, overpowering. I really thought it was going to be overpowered with chocolate, with the bittersweet chocolate, but it's really not. It tears apart real nicely, has a nice little crunch to it, to the pieces that's on top. It's very nice. Now let's try it with some ice cream. I can definitely taste the bourbon, but let's add some ice cream to the mix. See what we get here. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. I don't really want to eat all this because it's overpowered with sweetness, but it's really good. It's kind of hard not to. Nice, subtle, nice and warm. I let it sit for about 15-20 minutes just to get it cooled down a little bit. But yeah, this is amazing. And the bourbon and the vanilla and the ice cream add an excellent mix. But like I said, just very tedious. A lot of steps you have to do before you can actually get this on the grill. But there you have it. I mean, there's nothing else to it. Nice chocolate bread pudding with bourbon smoked ice cream. You will need a smoker tube if you don't have a cold smoker, and you will need a cast iron skillet, of course. But I'm gonna finish eating this. It's really good. I can't stop eating it, actually. But this is Big Black with Big Black Barbecue, and it's time to eat.